Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. I hope everyone's doing great. And everyone had a great Labor Day weekend. And their short week has kicked off great. It's been kind of crazy because it just feels different. It's like, oh, it's ready to do show again already. But
because we had the long weekend.
Yeah, man. How you been, Alex?
Doing all right, man. I'm tired all the time, man. I'm just tired. You just do weird stuff like, fall asleep, sitting down at a kitchen table with macaroni and cheese in your hand, trying to give it to your kids. But it's all good. Things are moving really well.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it was a crazy, busy weekend. It's just.
Did you do anything? Did you do anything like for Labor Day weekend? Do you have any things that you typically do for Labor Day weekend?
No, not for Labor Day weekend. So, honestly, until recently, I just started taking Labor Day off. Like I would a lot of times keep the school open all the time, but the past 2 or 3 years, I've, had it off. So,
Word.
When I first started, I'm like, we ain't taking days off. We're going, for a while. But yeah, man, I'm loving the comments already. Jacob, what's up, man? Yep, John Cortoro is good.
I should wear my shirt for that.
What's up, Kyle? Good to see you, man. Man, it's been a big week. Big weekend. Was helping my girlfriend's daughter move in to college, stuff like that.
She going to a big school or a small? You don't have to say the school. She going to a big school or she going to a small?
It's kind of
school?
middle. It's like the second oldest school ever. It's we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. William & Mary. So it's
right.
It's like
that's like a bigger school though, in the sense of
in some ways it's very hard to get in. It's one of those schools that's a very tough school to get in, but so she's excited about it, and so yeah, I'm just moving in, and the way the protocol is right now with COVID is very difficult.
I don't even want to hear about it.
So yeah, so whatever. So no reason to even worry about that. But yeah, today, man, it's been a crazy day. I had 8 private lessons today, plus all my other classes. So yeah, just how it is.
What? Dang, is that all you did today then? Or?
I did that and taught 2-3 classes. So yeah, man, just always staying busy. What's up, Jim? Hey guys, have we talked since we did our draft? No, we haven't. So
that's right. No, we haven't.
Right. We haven't. So we did our first.
Yeah, let's give a little heads up.
Yeah, we did our first ever Inside Scoop fantasy draft.
Football draft.
Fantasy football draft was a lot of fun. And
Troy Sexton is the biggest trash talker.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to get to saying. All right. I feel like we're going to have a lot of great trash talk. We got a good group of supporters of insiders from all over. It's going to be fun. Somehow on this one, I got ranked as the best draft of anyone. So we'll see how this goes.
How does that even? What do you mean ranked as the top?
That's
draft?
what I don't know.
A game has not even happened yet.
I know. That's why I don't understand how it works. I don't get it. But we will see, right?
I mean, it's whatever. We're gonna see. Yeah, but you know what though? Everybody's got strategies. If you guys have fantasy football strategies, insiders, if you guys listen and have key ones and you guys want to let other guys in the league know about your strategies, or if you got sleeper guys you think you're going to be great, do that. I think that's cool.
Put it in the comments too, man. We're having fun. That's what's cool. I'm excited to be able to interact more with just everyone that we do. That's what's fun about us going live every day is what up, Timberlake?
Listen, today was a hat day. I don't have very many hat days. I don't wear lots of hats, but this is like my go-to hat.
Yeah.
I wear a hat. My eyes are dying.
Okay.
I was like inches from a screen all day today.
Oh,
of any
man.
kind. My
eyes
are dead.
You had the glasses on as well, right?
So this hat, you know what? I'm going to tell you this funny hat. There's a funny story about this. It's really, really quick. So number one, this is the greatest hat you've ever seen. That's number one. Number two, so this hat is actually a hat Lindsay gave me as a replacement for the hat she destroyed.
Okay.
Right. When we lived in our little tiny, like 500 square foot, 1-bedroom condo, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have room for like nothing. So there was like, you see boxes, you'd see stuff. And I put my hat on top of like some shoe boxes. Well, she moved some stuff around, squished the hat. The hat was destroyed. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I love that hat. She felt bad. She went out, bought a replacement, bought this one. I like this one even more.
Yeah.
So that's what this one was. But
Nice.
I used to wear it like all the time. But
yeah.
So that's it.
Hey, so I got well, before we get any further, we are sponsored by the Virtual Fight Tour. Let's go ahead and get into that. And then I want to talk about some martial arts inter-network things that maybe some people haven't really heard or listened to and need to. So VFT, last week we announced, that, the number 10, which is also the 1-year anniversary show, has happened. And they released, 3 fights, and then they've released several more since then.
So much. This is going to be one amazing.
This is going to be a great one, man. I'm pumped for our boy Chris Walker to be fighting Continuous against
Kevin
Muniz. Yep. So that's going to be awesome.
Chris, and it's next Saturday, right? It's the 18th.
Yeah, next Saturday, guys. So go out and get your tickets now. I'm really pumped for that because I love continuous fighting and I love watching people who really know how to do it. And Chris does. Chris is one of my favorite continuous fighters to watch.
So I was thinking about this, and I brought this up, probably a year ago, when that means Chris's youngest has got to be almost a year old.
Yeah,
because he was my competitor of the week,
right? Right.
And I'm like, you know what? And I kind of brought this up, like I really wanted to beat Chris and one of the reasons why you want to test your skills against someone you feel is like that. So Chris Walker can really kind of do everything, and
he can.
He not only can he does. He did weapons, traditional. Obviously, we see his traditional Japanese form is very, very good. Yes. But the first I ever saw him was as an extreme forms competitor.
That's right.
And then we all know the guy can fight in every kind of like arena, whether it's full contact, whether it's jiu-jitsu. Heck, he was doing grappling on the Virtual Fight Tour.
Yep, grappling. Right? He could do.
He's
MMA.
A fantastic point fighter.
Yep.
So what he said on this week's episode of CTE, he's like, I'll do it, whatever. You want me to do forms, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You want me to do point fighting, whatever. You want me to do this, whatever. And he's with all sincerity. And some people will really kind of need like, all right, who am I up against?
Yeah.
All right, well, how much time do I have? That's not Chris.
No.
Chris is like, just tell me when. I'm there. Just tell me when. I'll do it.
We're talking about a guy who was a lightweight that would fight in the heavyweight super fights.
Dude,
you know what
said
I mean?
it.
So yeah. I'm excited to see him back in there. But man, the fight they just released, they released an up and coming fight, which is cool. But James Ford versus John Cortolo, man, that's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for this one. So
it's kind of hard to say that, like, all right, who's reached the higher highs? You got to say,
I'd say James has. Yeah.
James won the bigger event.
He's won more overall tournament, like overall grand championship.
Right. John's been in
consistent.
More. John's been in more finals than he has. Right.
Right. John's been very consistent with winning his division. Probably
and getting to the final. All right. So John's won some lightweight overalls too. All right. So, but I guess now that I've articulated, I think James has reached a higher high.
Right.
But one of the things I love about James so much is he can be very streaky. Well, heck, just in what we just mentioned, that highest high, it looked like that was about to be over. It was a 2-round match for the diamond ring, and he was losing 8-1 after the first round, against Jack Felton.
And you're thinking, there's no way to come back on this guy who doesn't make mistakes, right? So
yeah, you coming back against one of the most put together fighters ever.
Yeah,
and you're down 7 going into the final round. I mean, I remember where I was, and a lot of guys that were I was kind of standing there were like, "Gee, well, I mean, you got to do a second round." Those were some of the mumbles
Right.
that was happening, and so yes, it was fantastic. And then let's not forget, John Curatolo is good.
Yes, he is.
John Curatolo is good.
He is good. He is good.
Which is why he deserves the T-shirt he has. I can't believe that. That was
this is going to be a great one, man. I'm excited for that.
Yep.
That to me should be the main event. So that's going to be a great one. We talked last week about the 2 team fights. I see that Marcel is on here watching. So I'm excited to see Trey and Jalen fight. That's going to be great. We talked a little bit about that last week. I think they're, I think the youth on that one is going to carry through. I feel like. I mean, I love that team, that Ben's team of Justin and Chuck. But man, I think I feel like the Lazenbys are going to take that one. So excited for that one.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
On the performance, I don't know if you saw this. Did you see that Jesse posted about the special performance that he's going to have?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, so check this. Well, that's why I wanted you to check it out. So do it with me right now, because I can't pronounce this.
All right, where are we at? What do I need to look at?
Just go to the Virtual Fight Tours page. So,
is it sometimes Jesse just posts it from his page?
No, go right to his page. Just go right to the Virtual Fight Tour page. Or you can go to Jesse's, I suppose. He posted it a couple hours ago. But anyway, so it's a guy. I'm not going to say his name because I can't pronounce any syllable of that. But basically, he just won the gold medal in, I believe. Oh, geez, I forget where it was. But I was semi paying attention to the competition because Ariel was in it, and Ariel took bronze. And I remember thinking, like, wow, you took bronze, and this dude took gold.
Oh, the USA guy, yeah.
All right. Who is this guy? I don't know him. I've never heard of him.
Oh, I have. Yeah, he was pretty much the number 2 guy in him and Ariel have gone back and forth between the number 1, number 2 in America. And so, but yeah, I can't find Jesse's page for some reason, but I know why. It's going on under videos. Anyways, so yeah, it's Gakuji Tozaki.
There you go.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like, yeah, he just won the premier event, so that's going to be exciting. Yeah.
There you go, Andrew. Yeah. I don't know how
this guy's great. He's done some. See, Jesse has some connection with them because they last year, remember when they were doing the seminars and stuff, they were working together with those guys. So, yeah. Here we go.
His younger brother won the USA NKF. Okay.
And then we have Maria Rotul Ferguson from Amerikick doing a creative weapon. So that's cool that they're doing some special performances. I'm excited for that. I like seeing that. Gakuji is really good, man. He's really good. And yeah, he's beaten Ariel many times, several times. They've gone back and forth. As far as when it came to the Olympics, though, Ariel was on point. Ariel got bronze again at this event. Gakuji won gold. So, and then our own from Sport Karate, another one, Sport Karate, Mason Stello, I think he got 7th. So we had 3 Americans in the top 8. So the American team is on a rise, man. So it's really awesome for this. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Yeah, he did a seminar last year, and he's a beast. Awesome.
Andrew saying that Ariel was number 10. And how you say this guy's name again?
Gakuji. Let's just say Gakuji.
Gakuji was number 12, so he'll go up. Yeah, that makes sense that he will go up.
Yep. So
Mason won 7, just missed the bronze medal rounds. Wow. Yep. See, that's the thing. That's deep competition.
It is. It's insane, man. And so pretty awesome to those guys. And yeah, we had one of our females got bronze as well, Sakura Kokume. So Team USA doing great, not only in sport karate, but in traditional sport karate. So So excited for that. VFT is going to be great. September 18th. Get your tickets now, guys. Super excited. Thanks to VFT for just all they've done for the sport and continue to do. And I'm excited for us to continue to be a part of it. So I know we have lots of different topics.
I got a question though, because we haven't talked since the last couple of guests we had.
Oh, that's true.
So let's talk real quick about the Joe Greenhouse show.
Oh, yeah.
That was a couple weeks ago. So that was one of the better ones that we have. So much better than the first show that he was in on. I believe that one was better. The first show,
both, but yeah, they were different.
Right. Insiders, go back and listen to both of them. Yeah. So the first one was really cool. So we got into like, how did you get in? How did you get into this?
And then a little bit of topics that we knew were gonna fuel him a little bit.
Yeah, but now this one was different. This one, Joe was ready to go.
Right.
He was like, let's pull the gloves off.
Yep.
Buckle up. Anyway, so I just thought it was so good that, because if you listen to the show at all, it won't take long. You can listen to 2 minutes of it and you'll just see how passionate Joe is about sport martial arts.
Right.
And he really, really is.
As soon as we get into it, as soon as he answered, he's ready to go. He knows what he's talking about. He's just, he loves it. So.
But what I thought was good was he felt so bad. He's like, man, I love NASCA and I want to have my tournament, but I'm being handcuffed.
Right.
And I kind of brought it up, didn't know where he'd go with that. Like, hey, have you ever thought about doing your own, just hosting the New England Open?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, but I don't have the support. And everybody else is like, do it will come. Do it will help.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. So I hope that he really does.
Cool thing. I mean, I understand that. I've been there too when I was starting my tournament and my school was small and you don't really have a big school that really wants to do that or even knows how to, right? And you have to build it up and it takes time. And then when you take that break, you lose those people again. So I'm kind of in the same boat on that part as far as rebuilding that. Not only like, we know how to do it, but rebuilding the team to execute, So you gotta, it is tough. It's a different thing. It's not the easy thing like a lot of people think. Being a promoter is not what everyone thinks that it's just all this money and all this stuff. It's not how that works.
Money just
it's
always there.
Yeah. It's easy. No. But yeah, no, I loved it. I enjoyed talking to him about several different things. And we talked a couple of times after that, we had phone calls and stuff talking about just what we can do and who are the people we need to get together to just have discussions. So there are things
easy to access. If you want to talk, if you want him, he'll pick up the phone.
So I mean, again, there are things in motion, guys. So let's just make it work. That was one of my favorites. Both of the Joe Greenhall ones have been some of our most downloaded episodes. So always, every time he gets on, man, people are ready.
Who doesn't want to hear what Joe's got to say?
That's right. Was always a great event. One of my favorites to go to. So,
but then the Darren Payne show.
Man, I tell you what, it was a great one because we had a young guy on there who
didn't expect it.
Didn't act young, you know what I mean? Like
that's what I'm saying.
He was knowledgeable. He had a plan. He has a path of where he wants to go, and he has a strong team around him, and that's what's amazing. Very awesome.
And I remember being a couple of years older than him.
Yep.
Thinking, and I remember at that point in my life, I'm living on the University of Minnesota campus. I'm just loving that atmosphere. I'm hanging out still in the karate school all the time, right? Training like ridiculous amounts. But I 100% didn't take it as seriously as I should have, Right. And just I did not have the mindset like Darren does.
Right.
Right? No way. All right. And I even said, I don't think I had this type of mindset, this type of insight until like a decade into doing sport martial arts at a high level. Like I reached the level and still didn't have that mindset. It took me a while before I got there. So that just shows you, one, just how smart and mature the guy is. Two, what the people around him are really like. So
Yeah.
that's really helpful. That was really helpful for that guy. I did not expect it to be like that insightful, right?
Yeah.
I just,
Awesome.
I thought it would be entertaining, and it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was basically like pause, rewind, listen to that again, youngsters, because it was great.
Yeah, if you guys haven't gone and listened to that, go out and listen. Darren Payne, great young man, and going to be a champion for many years to come, I think, if he sticks with it.
You wouldn't say who was better between him or Tyson, though.
No. I wouldn't either. No, just go.
I actually expected him to say something. I expected him to be like, come on, man. He knows when we train. He knows who's getting him. Or for him to just be like, listen, as good as I was at, Tyson's got my number when we train. I don't know. You know what I mean?
But I mean, again, we're talking about someone who's young. Like, there's so much more for both of them to learn and to do. So
I know
they're doing this together. You know what I mean? So then when it gets to them, for a VFT overall champion of champions, hey, that would be epic, right? Because that's how it worked. One would be in the heavyweight, one would be in lightweight. So
speaking of,
all right, hold on, because again, I was supposed to say something. All right, have you guys, if you haven't gone out and listened to Raw, make sure you guys go out and listen to Raw, man. They have put out their episodes have changed a lot, and I get inspired and I get pumped up. Listen to it. Lots of positive talk, lots of mindset talk, lots of just them really showing who they really are. I think some people just think that Willie and Regina are these wild and crazy people that just whatever, and
it's more than just the volume.
Man, they really do some great insights. So go out and listen to that. Comes out every Monday morning, 8 a.m. This week, they had some great stuff. They talked about one of our episodes about Joe, and really, enjoyed that.
Yep.
And, I mean, I really enjoy it. So if you guys haven't gone out and listen to them, it's getting me again to get back out and do my, my shows I used to do in the morning and stuff, because I've kind of taken a little bit of a break, as there's a lot going on. And a lot of times it's just, you kind of doubt yourself sometimes, and like more positivity needs to be put out there. So why hold back on it? Right. So I just wanted to say that, because that was something I've been wanting to say. Just, if you guys go out and support all of our shows, they're so much fun. But that's really one of our newer ones. So make sure you guys check them out. Raw, Lump and Mimi show, and Regina and Willie show, whatever you want to call it. But check them out.
Yeah, they go back and forth. That's kind of like, but it's a bit, it's a bit that they got. I like it. It's great. It's going to be there each time. It's cool.
That's right.
All right. So kind of speaking of, what we were talking about with Darren, in the sense of, people who could potentially, be some of the bigger things. Man, I had a question today that was just running through my head.
Yeah, this is always a good one. I know
it's just when it's just running through my head, and I was just thinking about, I was thinking about Darren, and I was thinking about other guys like him in that position. And there's a few names that started popping in my head, and I started thinking, like, man, what the frick happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So, like, you were poised to do it all. Like, you got there, and then where did you go?
Right.
Or, dude, what happened to you? Right.
Right.
So I was just thinking, like, who are some people that you could think of, like 2 or 3 people or so, that will really look like they had the potential to just be like the next thing, or a really big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could potentially be winning grands, maybe potentially to take off, the best competitor in the world. And then just all of a sudden you're like, what the frick happened?
Right.
What do you think? You got anybody like that?
Well, there's always 2 for me as far as fighters. One's always Thomas Wright. Thomas is always the one that, just didn't do enough as an adult, didn't really last maybe 1-2 years in an adult. And things were just different. Like he was probably the one that everyone expected to be that guy. Actually, now I'm thinking of three: him and Jason Facey, right? Both of those guys.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Thomas Wright and Jason Facey. But another one for me is Peter Lunde. Peter Lunde, really, man, it was one of the most talented martial artists I've seen. All of them are actually around the same age in that group. And so to me, that's that group that I always think of as like one of the best junior fighting weight class, groups to go up. And they're all the same ages. Raymond, Jason, Trevor, all of them, they're all around the same age. So they were doing NASCA while Trevor, Jason, and Raymond and Ryan Huntley were doing NBL. So it was just that era is just insane. So I think of those three guys because those three were the top junior fighters on NASCA, and they had three completely different styles, three of the most gifted, either, a few were some of the best athletes, some were just the best as far as training, and some were just the best like mentally. So, I think of those three, and, neither of them really did much after 1 or 2 years in adult, So those are what I think.
Yeah, those are great ones that popped in my head a lot. I thought about Jason Facey a lot. I'll never forget, being right there once Raymond had reached a level and he was still fighting with a similar style. Like I remember fighting him in 99 and it wasn't quite like what it was when he was in 2000. Once he hit it was like another year. It was like, dude, you reached another freaking level, right? And I'm really curious, that's for another time. Right. Like what was it for him where all of a sudden it's just like, I've got it now. Yeah. But anyway, so what's Brett? Brett's asking, was he the last of Boston Taekwondo lineage? The Boston Taekwondo lineage still kind of runs deep. Like there's still people that kind of trickle from that. But yeah, he's definitely from that cloth. Yeah. So with Jason Facey, once we were in the lightweight division, and yes, I was lightweight, right? And on the lighter end of the lightweight, right? So, and I remember I was a rookie, right? And being there with the guys, I didn't say nothing to nobody because I had no one to talk to and no reason for anybody to talk to me. Who the frick was I? But my ears are like this all the time. I'm listening, and you just soak things in, and people are like, dude, who did you draw? Did you draw Raymond? Did you draw Raymond?
Right.
What side? Are you on his bracket? And that's all people could talk about was just the buzz. Like, oh, what are you going to do about him? Oh, man, what are you going to do about him? And nobody could talk about anything else. And I don't know why, but Jason Facey just wanted to talk to me.
Yeah.
And he tells me this before they fight. And he goes, I'm going to kick his ass. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, watch, I'm sidekicking him when he blitzes today. And I'm like, everybody try. Like, what? Did you just invent this new strategy? But the thing is you really couldn't. Like, you really just like, he's so freaking long, and it's not like he got taller since then. So he's just as tall, but he's 150 pounds, right? So like, what? Right?
Yeah.
So like, I did it one time where I sidekickeded him, like, oh, I got you. And it just slips. It slipped right out because there was no substance to him in comparison because he was so skinny. Jason did. Jason sidekicked him, hit him, lifted him up. One time, Ray hits him, bang, it gets in his face, and does the, beat his chest, lifts his hands up. Very next class, Jason stuffs him, pow, beats his chest, lifts his hands up. I'm like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
Get the heck out of here. And I don't think I saw him at like one other tournament after that.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, yeah, he won it. Yeah, he was the guy. I always kind of wonder, like, dude, I don't know what it was.
Right.
Like why he wasn't around, but thinking like, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was great, man. I always love watching him, and just a great guy too to hang out with, and just from a great background. I don't know. Maybe we need to have him on the show to talk about that.
Oh, that would be cool.
So,
Yo, insiders, give us some other suggestions of people that you could think of that were poised to be something special, and then
just kind of stopped, got out of the sport or whatever. We haven't even talked about forms either, you know.
There's some I got.
Here's one for me. And again, when I say like be the person, I'm talking about in adults. They were very successful for maybe 1 year or 2 years in junior, but never. And one for me is Nick Begley. Nick was.
I love that dude's form.
Yeah, and so Nick was an amazing junior competitor. Got picked up on
same form every time.
Yeah, got picked on JPM. Yeah, Jesse, you're right. Frank Jones is another great one, man.
Frank Jones is a good one. Yep, absolutely, right. Jesse.
You're right.
You see it, and that's the other thing is I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but just piggybacking off of what Jesse's saying is when you would watch Frank fight, a lot like what we were talking about with Jason Facey, you looked at that and you were like, that's freaking awesome. Even if they didn't win the match, right? So, and you just look at it like, wow, once that guy puts it together, just watch out. The world's not going to be able to keep up. And then like, what the hell happened, man? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, and I can get on to Frank in a second, but as far as Nick, to me, like he was that one that people were ready to move up to adult because as a junior, like he didn't need to change. He didn't need to increase his power as much as many juniors need to when they move up to adults, right?
He already was the most powerful.
Yeah, there's that power that you have to do when you change it. And some of it just naturally, you get it. Like I remember competitors coming to me and they're like, dude, you've gotten strong now. I'm like, huh? I didn't notice any difference, you know, but it was just, I'm like, okay. And then I look at my performance from when I was 17 to 18, it was completely different, right? And that was the same thing, you know, with Nick, he was ready. So would have been awesome to see him go up to adult. He won many championships as a junior. Great, was one of the innovators with the sword. So yes, it would have been great. Oh, that's another one, Brett. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that one too. All right, Frank Jones was consistent from 96, 97, 98. A little bit in and out. Some with Team Elite, he had, I believe, an accident around that time. So we weren't really seeing him as much, right? And then he came a few tournaments in 2000 and one where he just axe kicked the crap out of Trevor at the Diamonds, which was one of the craziest kicks I've ever seen. It's like a rear leg axe kick too. And it was nasty. And that was the thing. It's like, we've seen like he was beating high level people, winning the heavyweight division in 97, 98, doing great stuff. Had a great team along with them. One of my favorite competitors, just wish we would have. Yeah. All right. That's what spinning axe kick, which is insane, right? Yeah. So Frank Jones, just one of my favorite people ever. A great competitor, man. This dude just awesome. Another one I know you don't really have as much. And Brett's talking about Jeff Joslin. So Jeff Joslin is
tell me all about him.
Is from Canada. He said he's one of the best all-around competitor for 1 year and then left for MMA and jiu-jitsu, which he did. But he was also a very innovative competitor with the bow, right? He was all-around competitor, great point fighter, traditional forms, open forms, weapons. But in like 94, 95 in the NBL, he was doing neck rolls before people were doing this. He was doing the releases. He was doing like what people would start calling speed bow, where it was, like as fast as Gary Waugh, right? And it was just, but he was doing
that's some good company.
Yeah. So, but he was doing it to music with the speed, you know what I mean? And hitting the beat.
Him.
So it was really good to me. So I really love watching Jeff Joslin. He ended up, his father was Trevor's instructor as well. But this dude went on to fight in the UFC a couple of times. So.
All right, I got a couple, but I want to go off of what Timothy Wong just put out. Stephen Horst, dude. So Steve Horst, for people, because you only know unless you saw him, because he didn't win. Like he didn't make it to Grands. He didn't make it
a couple of times in 98.
right,
Couple
but
times in '98, he beat Butch a couple times.
But he wasn't winning like the grand championship.
No.
But you looked at him and like, I've not seen three people do what you just did. I don't think I know anybody else who could do that. So right, Timothy's like he'd do that crazy flexibility. Yeah. So around that time, Jeff, so you're saying like around 98, we're getting close to like
97, 98. Yep.
Some of the peak, close to like the peak of what standing kicking was really like. We're getting close to that time frame.
And almost, unfortunately, the end of as far as
exactly, because that's what it was. It hit its peak and then it went pow.
Right. So I mean, you're talking about in the same division. You had myself, Steve. Yeah. Let's see. You also had there was several other guys that would come up every now and then. But like it was us two and Butch in the division. You know what I mean? Eventually, about a year or two later, was when Anthony Murata kind of got in, and then Steve
Murata.
Steve Yu was a great kicker as well from that time. Several ones like that. I'm talking about kicking as far as like
kicking. Yes, kick. Absolutely.
So, and we were all in the same division, you know, so it was very, very different. But yeah, I mean, his flexibility is the same.
Adam Faldetta was good. Adam Faldetta couldn't hold a candlestick to Steve's kicks. There's no
on kicking. No, Adam. No,
but he did have some good creativity.
Adam had some well put together forms.
Very well choreographed.
And I think that's where he was higher level than Steve. Steve Horst, that is.
So let's look at that. So Steve's from St. Paul. He's from St. Paul, Minnesota, East St. Paul. Yeah. Right. And then so we would kind of, we always were in the same tournaments, the local tournaments. We bump elbows. Steve was also a break dancer. Okay.
Yep.
So at that time, in like the mid 90s, that started to become like a resurgence, the breakdancing, community in Minneapolis. This dude named Daylight was like really the head of that. And then guys like BJ Carnahan was very integral in that, as crazy as that is, but he really was. All right. And so you get other guys like Travis Johnson, who was also a phenomenal kicker, all right, in martial arts. And then other guys like Steve Horst. So he would take that. I remember Steve, he would roll, right? And he would pop and wave in his forms. And I'm like, get the frick out of here. He'd do Apple Jacks, but it would be fun and cool, but it wasn't always put together. What I loved so much about his forms was that his lines were perfect.
Right.
All the time. Like even when you would do like a pseudo chop hand, like I don't like my wrist can't bend like all the way back. I can't get that all the way back. He's got like double jointed everything.
Right.
So he could do it. And I'm like, I can't even get my arm straight like you.
The stop sign one real good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So his were fantastic. But then he goes out to California and now I don't know if he's part owner, but he's definitely working there.
Yeah.
He's working with Raymond at World Championship
Karate. At that time, now I think he's an owner of the school. So.
That's what I kind of believe so.
So
the dude's got some jactitude to him now.
Yeah, now he's more ripped up and he's even in better shape now. So
looks like he lifts all of the weights.
He can still kick and he does a lot of strength and conditioning for different people out there. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So here's another forms guy I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
And more recent than Steve, probably like 10 years more recent, which is Josh Kahn. Josh Kahn was
a great one.
So Josh and Jake Kahn, brothers, okay, from Virginia, or are they from Maryland?
Maryland.
All right, DMV area. We should say that.
Yeah, this is DMV.
All right. I loved their team form that they did together. It was fantastic. I liked it. I kind of felt like, oh, this is so cool because I did a team form once with my brother, and I'm like, we didn't look that good.
Yeah.
How come you guys are able to communicate with each other? Me and my brother hate each other, but whatever. So, and I think Jake was more technical. He was the one who was he was the workhorse.
Yeah.
Right. And more passionate.
And he's still involved.
Josh was so much more talented. Right. This is also from Jake's mouth too. All right. Josh was so much more talented and that he won the diamond frickin' ring.
Right.
Not when it was like CMX traditional.
Right.
Men's form, won the diamond ring when he was 18 and said, that's it.
Pretty much. I mean, he did maybe 1 or 2 years after that, but not as much, man.
So I asked him, I'm like, Jake, I'm like, yo, what's up with your brother? When do I get to see him again? He goes, oh yeah, man, I don't think you're gonna see him again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? And he goes, did he win the diamonds? I'm like, yeah, okay. What is yes.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I think he just kind of looked at it like, oh, I'm done now. I won that. Karate's over.
Right.
I don't know how to compute that in my brain.
Right. I know.
So I was just like, man,
yeah,
that stinks. Yeah, Andrew, you're right. It was 2008.
Those guys, man. We were both. Those are other ones that were like mindset with me as far as kicking and taekwondo and all that. But we had two completely different versions of that too. So it was always fun to sit and just talk with them about martial arts. So yeah, Josh was great. He was a great tricker as well. So really cool.
One last one I have.
Brett has a good one though too. Austin Jorgensen's a great one.
Austin Jorgensen was great. But I kind of, you know what? Let's just touch on that.
He won a lot in a short amount of time, then got out. You know,
I want to touch on what he's talking about in a more broader spectrum.
Okay,
so he's talking about Austin Jorgensen, who was like, "Man, you're winning. Like we see you all the time," and then all of a sudden he's just gone. Jeff, isn't that every Chinese stylist ever?
Yeah, true.
That's every Chinese styles forms that we see compete. NASCA.
Yep, I just
right.
Ming Lu
at a high level.
Boom.
Yeah. Ming Lu came, and the moment she stepped into like a open tournament,
and then she made a couple random appearances years later, but it wasn't,
exactly
it wasn't the same. So,
but even like Lee Pei-yun,
he was around a little bit longer than some of the other guys.
He had a bigger cup of coffee.
Same thing as Gary Stearns. He had a longer time. He did it for a while, but as far as successful as the guy,
no, he wasn't as successful as those guys were.
But
I think he was more successful than Austin. But it was just the same thing. It was just like all of a sudden,
Gary wasn't as successful as Austin.
No, not Gary. I mean Lee.
I don't think Lee was either, as far as the top ones, because we're talking about when Lee was around, John Su was also at his height with the double whip chain. And then also DX would come in and out as well. So we're talking about all these guys,
So look at that. So it's the same, but it's the same thing. Like they're just here and then all of a sudden I'm gone.
Right. And there's several more. There's so many that I've seen at tournaments in Oregon that should go to more tournaments. Because that was the first time I had seen Austin was at Pacific Jewel, right? The next year, another guy, I can't even think, one of the best soft style forms I've ever seen, and he would only go to that tournament, and then wouldn't go anywhere else, but knew Austin because competed in the soft style tournaments, the Wushu tournaments against Austin, and apparently had won several times. I'm gonna look it up. I'll share a video on here. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube somewhere, but this guy's great. And he competed against myself and Daryl Lewis at that tournament. So it was pretty cool.
So the last one I was thinking of while you're looking that up is a fighter, female.
Right.
And I don't know anybody who doesn't like her. Well, maybe there's some women that don't like her that fought against her and didn't win or something. I have no idea. But Joyce Blanco.
Yeah.
Joyce Blanco didn't win everything. I mean, I think I've seen Nancy Young beat her.
Right.
So she's lost, sure, but like everybody really enjoyed watching her fight, seeing her fight. She's very, very good. And then you're right, Andrew. Yeah, she won the diamonds, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden she was just gone. And I don't know why, right? It was before the end of the 2000s. And then all of a sudden I think she would pop in like, oh, she's at a tournament, but then didn't like compete at it. And people are like, yo, you gonna fight? You gonna fight? No, I'm just hanging. Oh no, I don't fight anymore.
Right. All right, I found this guy's name. Look him up. Peter Dang.
Peter Dang.
Peter Dang, like D-A-N-G. Peter Dang. Yeah.
All right. Easy to remember.
Awesome guy. And he did they did actually at the tournament in self-defense, did the like a real wushu self-defense thing, which you don't see in sport karate terms, which is pretty awesome, with the sword and they're going, all that crazy stuff, right? Oh man. So yeah. All right. The other one is the other question we talked about, right? It's a topic that was brought up on the group, the open tournaments group, right?
Yeah, this is a question from Richard Osborne, which I thought was so good that I wanted to talk about it today.
Yeah.
And it was, what is one thing in sport martial arts you would like to see go away? Kind of like, should it stay or should it go?
Right. Right.
So if you guys can think of other ones, or if you guys win on,
yeah, I mean, we can even look at those choices.
Yeah, you want to go check out the post. I'm sure by the time everybody's hearing this podcast.
Yeah, so one, of course, people put up is participation trophies, right? So that's one. The other one that's a hot topic lately is introductions.
Yep.
One put up, especially from traditional groups, is excessive yelling. I definitely think that needs to be gone from traditional forms, especially Korean forms.
Yeah, there you go, especially Korean forms.
Incompetent, inexperienced, boring judging in forms. Board judging in forms. Some of these are funny. Wasting time at the beginning of an event with bow-in, demonstration by masters, ego stroking. This happens all the time at local events. It's pretty crazy. Reduced grands. I voted for that one because that's ridiculous. And then volunteer free judges, which one person voted.
Okay. So obviously we would love to just go take a fire thrower, a flamethrower, to all of that stuff and just get it the heck out of there. Right. But that's
a good one by Brett. Brett one just put the unwritten rules in fighting. Like if the sidekick doesn't stop the forward movement in the fire, it doesn't score. Put that in the rules if you want it, which I get that because sometimes it depends on who throws it, right? Or which way. So there needs to be more black and white instead of gray area.
Or who the judge is. Because if Bill Wallace is your judge and you kick a hand, he's giving you 2 points. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Bill Wallace loves kicks.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time he was ever my judge, and I remember thinking like, oh man, he's not going to call nothing. Right? He's going to call everything in clash. He's going to call no point. And it was the oddest thing. It was a U.S. Open. I think it was, I can't remember what year. It might have been 2005. And people were just kicking. And I think it was Josh Horowitz that told me this. He goes, man, Bill Superfoot Wallace loves him some feet. And he's just, people would like do a hook kick at a hand, 2 points. 2 points. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
I've only
this
been
works all right. Okay for me.
Which is weird. Yeah. It was weird to me seeing him judge forms a lot, but yeah. Battle of Atlanta, that happened a lot. Him and Jason David Frank. So
yeah, you get a guy who only kicks people,
right?
And then a TV star,
right?
Judging very integral forms,
right? And especially at that time, and at that time too, like a mix of traditional and open together, So yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
So I mean, what's one you're thinking? What's one you're thinking, Alex?
Okay, if you had to take one out, you had to leave the rest, man.
Oh,
I think. I think the wasting time at the beginning, with the bow-in. But I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna pretend that doesn't exist because that just needs. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear it, right? And I'm gonna go with reduced grands.
And what do you explain that? Because some people think that, all right, when they say reduced grands, that means actually I don't really know what they're really meaning. So I'm thinking, are they saying reduce get rid of the reduced as far as prize money, which has happened this year? They reduce all the prize money. That's one thing. But the other is actually reducing the amount of grand championships.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Reducing the amount of grand championships.
Right.
Just like Andrew was saying, there are as many grands as divisions. Go back 20 years ago.
Right.
That's how many grand championships there are.
Yeah.
And even then, they're like, wow, there's more divisions than we've ever seen before.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what we did? And you know what we did at that time? We gave prize money to who won first place.
Right.
Gave them $100, which is like, people were like, oh, it's nothing really, but like it keeps people interested in wanting to stay.
Pays for that division. I mean, it makes it, and then again, honestly, it makes you actually want to do more divisions.
So if
you can do your 6 and try to get, and there's $600 right there, right?
Well,
and then
if people haven't figured out this correlation yet, I'm going to help with that. So, as we're seeing, and we've talked about it, like in the WKF circuit, okay? If you placed 5th or 6th, you'd be like, oh man, that was the shit, right?
Right.
Okay. If you place 5th or 6th in, we're just going to use NASCAR as the term, right? Because it's the best, all right? People would be like, you might want to quit doing that division. You suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You're bad. You'd be like, yeah, but there's 30 of us. You suck.
But not all of them are great. There's not high level, right?
Okay.
So again, at the WKF tournament, the last one, the premier tournament, there was only 22 competitors, but they were selected to be there.
Right.
They had to qualify and to be ranked a certain level to be even make it to that event, right?
So now here's what happened, right? So you take this big division and you split it up, okay? So now your first place doesn't really mean anything yet. So now you're like, okay, well, what is first place? Right? I've got to get there, right? So what we're trying to do is say, okay, let's entice them with more awards to make them want to stay. Okay? We acknowledge that that's the state of the union with that.
Yeah.
We want to entice them with more awards to make them want to stay. Okay?
Yep.
Doesn't that sound like Mick Dojo? Entice them.
Yeah.
With more belts.
Yep.
To make them want to stay.
And more patches.
Give them another award.
Yeah.
They'll sign up for more sessions. They'll sign up for another program.
Right.
Give them another rank. They'll want to stay.
Right.
Give them another award. Let's create another award. We've got traditional and CMX. We don't need to have that together. Let's get rid of that. All right, well, then we do have to have them go in the end. No, because we don't want too many losers.
Yeah,
these are things that are being verbalized.
Right.
We have a grand champion go against another grand champion. Then we're going to have somebody else who loses. Yeah. I almost swore. Effing duh. That's how this shit goes.
My problem. So a lot of people don't like. So I like splitting traditional and open, but I think it needs to be done similar to how the NBL did it, where it was traditional grand, open grand. That's it. I'm talking about forms and weapons. Now you can have, if you want to do a female traditional, a female open, all right, and then a male one and a male. That way, there's only 4 forms and weapons grands. And I'm talking about, because again, traditional weapons and forms can be together. I think there can still be a way you do the same thing. If you have quality judges, you can have a weapons form against an open form, and it can be done fairly, which it has been in the past. It's who delivers it the best. To me, that's more, that is judged better and relates better than putting a traditional form against an open form, because it's just not even in the same realm, right? There's different stuff. So I like, because the timing is similar, especially if the traditional is done correctly for weapons, but whatever, this isn't that topic today. So that timing is better. And then you do the same thing in open. You do an open style. The timing is better. It's more relatable as far as that goes, you know? So, and you can still have 2, you can have 3. I don't know. I mean, in Super Grands, it was male and women together. So, whatever. Yeah. But, in NASCAR, you know, they've always separated, you know, male and female. So why not? And I like that. So That way you only have 4 and it's done. If you want to do an overall and have the winners against each other, you can.
We have a lot of great comments going.
Yep.
But the one that everybody talks about, everybody agrees with, and everybody's like, yes, 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 promoters themselves, is what Jesse just said. Run some more stuff down in the daytime and put more fights in the nighttime.
So
yes.
Yeah. See, I never had an issue with that.
People are unwilling to take things out of the finals. Well, we got to have a 13 and under.
Right.
CMX.
Yeah.
Boys Forum Grand Champion. What?
Yeah.
Do you want to specify which one has like brown hair and put the only one for brown hair as well? All right. CMX 13 and under boys blonde hair. What? What is this? Right? Just you want to do that? You want to have your grand champion make that grand for you? Do that somewhere else. And then now what you can do is go, okay, let's take the 16, 17-year-old boys, because they're splitting tall and short, which is fine. Right. You want to do that, split that tall and short. Have them go for first place. Some tournaments have done that. But it's like,
I mean,
quiet and then they take it away. And I never understand why they take it away.
Well, Bluegrass Nationals always did that, which is
always
great.
did it.
There were several other ones that did it. We would it was always a thing in NBL was to put junior continuous fighting on stage. And then some terms would do, would switch back and forth, junior point, junior continuous, kind of go back and forth. There's always ways to do it. But also, again, like the biggest thing is make it a 2-hour to 2.5 hour show, right? And you can still do that while make it almost 50-50 of forms and fighting. You can have your top 4 female fighters left, and you can have your top 4 adult male fighters left, and have them fight off, and then have maybe one other type fight if you want, and you can have that, make it a big deal. So there's ways to do it. It's been done. Just people just gotta actually do it. So,
well, I think for the 18 plus women and 18 plus men, it should just be you win your division, you're in the finals. What are we talking about for the women? There's 4 of them.
There's 4, yeah. So that's it. There would be 8 for the others. So
it'd be 8.
It's with that many, it's hard to get some junior fights in there with that amount in there. So
not if you took out all the grands.
Well, right. But
you know what I mean?
There's ways to do it.
So you can have your grand championship, right? And we can take the traditional grand winner and the CMX grand winner and put them up against each other. You know why they won't do it? Because they know once they put them up, they feel the CMX is going to win every single time.
So again, you don't even need to do that. All right, I'm just do it the way I'm saying.
It's an example.
Right, but
you're right. You don't need to.
You don't need to do that. All right, if you run it the right way without all the extra stuff, you don't need. And honestly, NASCA does a good job at that for a while. I don't know if they do anymore, but you don't need to do everyone come in, bow in, introduce each one individually, then go. There's a way to cut it down to where it doesn't have to do that, right? And then you could even do when you do all your junior fights, you can have the winners. Have them fight. All right, winner of this. They'll come once all those fights are done, you bring them back on and you present their awards as a group. Winner for this, winner for this, winner for this, bow in. You have a big group with that. It just little things like that actually take time away from it, right? There's just ways to do it. Like again, my last tournament we did my finals in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we had, let's see, probably 12, 13 fights. Plus we had 3 junior Forms of Weapons Grand Championships and 3 adult Forms of Weapons Grand Championships. So we were able to do it. And we had demos. And we still ran it in that amount of time. So there's ways to do it. Just everyone wants to tell you this is why it can't happen instead of how can we make it happen. Yeah, but that's that's Sport Karate's biggest problem. Is everyone puts the thing up of why we can't do it instead of why we can. So
right. I got a question because this always gets batted around every single Friday night of a national tournament. And once we get a little deeper into the team fighting, we go, wait, are we going to do this on stage tomorrow? Are we going to, and nobody knows.
Good question. Yeah. No one knows.
Nobody knows.
Yep.
And then you get the final two teams like, are we doing this now? Are we going to do this? Are we going to wait? And we, no, oh, you want to do it tomorrow? Yeah. So
yeah.
What do you think? Do you think, what do you think is better? What do you like better?
So I really
team
like
fighting run in the finals or team fighting done there in the moment?
I like doing it in the moment.
Me too.
Or do it as a Friday night type show.
That's all right. Now, if you do that, that's cool.
So like, even if you have a stage and like, okay, you run the division off and then maybe 30 minutes later, fighting show, boom, and everyone gets around it. That would be cool because what tends to happen in team fighting is that everyone gets around that ring. I think it would be better to have all those people around the stage, in my opinion, I've had several times where team fighting kind of got a little out of hand on stage. So I stopped putting them there, not just because
that's the problem is when you put it on a stage, it's like there's a team behind. The team can't really be there. So it's really tricky.
Yeah, it's weird.
I've been in both. I've won both in Friday and in the finals on Saturday. I've lost both on Friday and on Saturday in the finals. I like Friday. You're in the moment. I'm going. This is what I want to do. Right. But
Jackson, I totally agree on that because I've been there as a promoter, like, oh man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. So what Jackson's saying is, do you think some promoters wait to see which team makes it?
Yeah,
right?
which teams? If they think it's going to be like a blowout, do we really want this? Let's see. We're talking about almost 10 minutes of fighting on our stage, if it's going to not be very entertaining. Now, if it's going to be very close, let's put it on there,
Well, no, there's that. And there's also, because if it's, let's just say it's Team Legend, very good team.
Right.
All right. And versus the All-Stars. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you go, all right, it's okay. But then, and it's already announced, everybody's talking about, no, it's going to be Friday night. We're not going to do it. And it's coming down. It's likely going to come down to Legend and the All-Stars. And you find out Raymond's going to be there on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Raymond's going to fight again? It's going to be Saturday night. And they're going to want him to do it because they just want him. Right? That happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I don't see that happening in the near future. But
I'm just using his name as an example.
Right. But again, they can't make a decision. All right. But that decision would have already been made. So
come on now, if he just shows things get flipped.
No. You're saying he's showing up Saturday. No one finds that out until Saturday that he's there. How are they going to
know how this stuff goes down? You hear, he's going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Then yeah.
He's going to be here. They do that all the time. You know who was the king of that? Here's the king. I'm out of. Here's the king was Jason Borelli.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because and he was on your team most of the time. Jason Borelli would not be there on time for when.
Never there on time.
Okay, there you go.
For the first
I don't think that there on time, but maybe he wouldn't even get there on Friday.
And then he would get like tagged in as the.
But Conroy would be like, "Hey, just do your job. Jason will be here tomorrow. Do your job."
Right.
You're like, all right, well, whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
Just hold my lunch pail, and then
that's true.
Jason will come through with a white stallion and a sword and save us all. Yeah.
Oh man,
that was their relationship.
Dude, crazy stuff.
You don't seem very entertained by that. It's not funny to you.
It's reality, so it's not.
It's funny to me because I never really had to bother with it.
Right. Oh man, we talked a lot of good stuff, man. Again, guys, if y'all haven't comment who you think are some people that could have been there and just didn't follow through. Also, what are some things you want to get rid of in sport karate? What's one thing? We'd love to hear it. What fights are you most excited about for VFT 10, man? This is going to be a great fight. Great fight card. Go out and support it, guys. We are super excited, and go out and support all of our shows, the Martial Arts Center Network. We kind of end the week for everybody, so get pumped up for next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We got something for everybody, man.
Here's one, Jeff, that maybe didn't think about. People can comment on this later.
All right.
If you could remove a person from sport karate.
Oh, God. I know what some people would say, but
who would it be?
I don't agree with that one. So
no, I'm not saying nothing.
Oh, I know.
Maybe people can make a poll.
Yeah, do a poll.
Go ahead, make a poll. see how that gets voted on.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I am excited for the stuff coming up. This is gonna be dude, I can't. Who do I have? Who do I have in our fantasy football league?
Oh,
that I'm going up against?
I go against Jim Fish.
You going against Jim Fish?
Yep. So we
Who do I have? Oh, I got Joe Hartley.
Oh, all right.
All right. Let's see what you got, Joe.
Jenny Jones says, "Do not make that poll."
All right. This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Thank you, guys.